are you really trying to provoke me? And every single time he's stepping closer and closer to me. Are you really trying to provoke me? Are you trying to provoke me? I'll kill you. You'll really lose your life in here.
Dispatch.
Hi, I have a question.
Aisha Nelson's first 911 call came in just before 5:30 on June 22nd. She asks how to file a police report after she says her boyfriend threatened to kill her.
He do have possession of a gun that I purchased. He did take it, and I didn't make a big fuss about it. But since he threatened my life, he has the means to do it.
The dispatcher encourages her to go to a nearby police station and call from there to have an officer come out and take a report. He also reminds her there are local shelters she can stay at for safety. But according to regional dispatch records, she didn't call back until just after midnight on June 23rd. She asks for an officer to meet her at a Family Dollar so she could file a police report.
I don't want him arrested. I just want to make a report, just in case anything does happen, because I'm going to protect myself.
Officers Santos and Moore were dispatched to a home around 1:50 a.m. on June 23 to respond to a report of a domestic dispute. They encountered a woman, 31-year-old Aisha Nelson, who was living at the home with her 6-year-old daughter and her boyfriend, Dante Hawes. The couple was in a heated argument in front of Aisha's daughter and Dante's 9-year-old daughter. Aisha was begging officers to make Dante leave the home and claimed he had been waving a gun around and threatening her life. The officers believed they had diffused the situation between the couple, then left. Less than an hour later, Aisha and her 6-year-old daughter would be dead. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Dayton, Ohio. Aisha Nelson, a Dayton, Ohio resident, was originally from Newark, New Jersey. She graduated from Central High School in 2009 and joined the U.S. Navy shortly after. She was the mother to an energetic, fun-loving 6-year-old little girl named Harper Monroe. Aisha's main focus in life was her daughter, and she would frequently relocate to provide her daughter with a better life and educational opportunities. Aisha was in a relationship with 31-year-old Dante Hawes. She met Dante while serving in the U.S. Navy and later decided to move in with him in Dayton, Ohio. Dante had a 9-year-old daughter of his own, and the two did not share any children together. The couple's initial fondness for one another was the reason they decided to move in together, but the relationship would eventually turn sour afterwards. The relationship quickly became tumultuous, with arguments and fights erupting between them. On June 23, 2022, at around 1:50 in the morning, officers were dispatched to the couple's home at 337 Burleigh Avenue to respond to a report of a domestic dispute. When they arrived, they first encountered Aisha, who started to explain the details of the conflict she had been having with her boyfriend throughout the day.
What I thought was a small argument, and he was like, "Get the fuck out, I can't wait for you to leave." I left for came back, he started arguing with me again. I went to the bathroom, I got in the shower. Got in the shower, and he kicked the door open. Now my daughter, she's here, like we just moved here. I came before my daughter, she came for the summer. His daughter is here too. So he kicked the door in while I was in there.
Hello.
Hey, I called you, and she locked me in the basement.
You talk to her, I'll talk to you.
I didn't lock him in the basement, but okay. So he threatened me. He was like, I purchased a gun for the house because I just moved here last September. His daughter was here last year, and someone came through the block and shot every house up because they was looking for his cousin. His dad owns this house, that house, a house across the street, and a house down the street, I believe. But I was like, okay, so cause he just went upstairs. Like I was sleeping upstairs, me and my daughter went up there, cause there's a door. So we had some privacy. He just kicked the bathroom door in. So he came up there. He started arguing with me again. He kept calling me like in front of my daughter. It did upset me. I'll admit, like I said, get the out of here. Like leave me alone. So he went in the closet and grabbed the gun. So he was like, yeah, get out of my house. So I was like, okay. Like, just okay. Like now at this point he got the gun in his hand. So I let things calm down like an hour, and I was like, are you going to give me my gun? Like, I don't care what you do with it, but you need to put it down. Like, give me my gun. So he was like, my gun is registered in my name now. He just started arguing and he was like, you'll get the out of here. I'll get my sisters and everybody to beat you up. And I was like, you're not going to do nothing. And he was like, matter of fact, get out. I said, you can't put me out. I pay rent here. So he was like, you're really willing to lose your life over a gun? Like, seriously? Like, you really trying to provoke me? So I was like, you know what? Because he was drinking. So I just was like, maybe when he calmed down, because he's gotten upset before, but he never went to this extreme. I said, maybe when he calmed down, tomorrow will be a new day. But he just kept, like, he'll keep coming upstairs. If I'm in this room over here, I started cleaning it out so I could put a bed in there. We'll sleep in there. Like, he just was following me around the house.
This was still all last night.
This was last night. Okay. So today, we didn't talk much. Before he left, he was like, when are you getting out of the house? So I'm not leaving. I made up my mind. Because last night I was going to leave me at the hotel. He cut my credit cards off. He was like, I'm going to give me those credit cards. I said, you're not getting nothing. I paid the balance on them. Today, he said, when are you getting out? So I'm not getting out. You made it to where I can't get a credit card. I'm at to where I can't go get a hotel. I'm not getting out. So he was like, you gonna be gone when I come back. And all of this is in front of my daughter. Like every other word is like that's how he's referring to me now. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He came back with his daughter. We was going back and forth, and I was like, you can do and say whatever you want to me when it's just us here. But when we in front of my daughter, I'll go to the end of the earth for mine. Like, don't disrespect me in front of my daughter. He was like, you getting out my house? Like, are you really trying to provoke me? And every single time he's stepping closer and closer to me. Are you really trying to provoke me? Are you trying to provoke me? I'll kill you. You'll really lose your life in here. He's like, matter of fact, I'll get my sister to whoop you. You're not from here. You're not about that. You're not from Ohio. Like, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. You're going to get the out. Like, I'm telling you, what did he say? You're going to get out, or you're going to have to suffer the alternative or something like that. The reason why I do take it a little seriously is because he had domestic issues with his daughter's mother, where he was convicted of beating her. And so for him to talk so loosely in front of my daughter, I don't want to take it seriously because we've been friends for so long, but I do. Because, he didn't start doing any of this until after he grabbed the gun. And this is the second, he said 2 times, asked me, am I willing to lose my life? And I don't like that. I don't like that. He did talk to his dad. His dad just came, and I guess they drew the conclusion to call the police, but I had already called them since earlier, so.
You plan on staying here, like living here?
I pay this rent here. I don't have family here. I don't have friends here.
Hear me out. I'm just asking if you want to be here.
I want to be here in peace. Like I told her, I called the police 2 times today already. I did try to do this discreetly because, like I told her, his dad owned about 3 or 4 houses on his block. His granny lived next door. Like I really didn't want to upset him. So I called. I let the dispatcher know what was going on. I let them know that he had already threatened me twice.
At some point, you would have to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Like I told the dispatcher, like, I don't mind y'all talking to him.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be around while y'all talking to him.
Right. So, listen, here's what I explained to him.
Okay.
You guys are adults. So, you're obviously both trying to provide a safe space for your children.
I don't think so, though. Because like I told her, he's walking around the house waving his gun that I purchased. Like, he didn't start making any threats last night till he had the gun. So I told her I discounted it to the fact that he was out all day yesterday, had Taco Tuesday drinking. So, I mean, I was like, maybe, if we go to sleep. But today he woke up with the same shenanigans. And all of this is in front of my daughter. Like, that's the issue that I have. You say, like, we're adults trying to provide a safe space.
Well, I'm not
and
saying
he's
that,
not trying to create that environment for his daughter or mine.
Listen, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to let cooler heads prevail, rationalize, prevail. And if this isn't a good situation for you, start to make a transition into
Well,
another
he
situation.
cut my credit cards off and cleaned out my bank account.
What I'm saying is, where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, I mean, maybe he could go. But I pay the rent here. I have receipts. I've been paying the rent here since I moved here with no help from him.
But if you're going to continue to abide here and live here,
I'm not abiding by anything. I live here and I have the right to stay here peacefully.
Yeah,
without
no,
being
listen,
threatened. I didn't make
listen.
any threats to him. I didn't do anything to him.
yeah, hear me out. Listen, hear what I'm saying. I'm not trying to argue with you.
No, I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm just trying to make sure
If
you
you're going to be here,
understand the
and if it's not a
situation.
good situation, start making the process transition out somewhere else or do something else. Or,
Did you make the same suggestion?
I
to
told him the exact same thing.
Okay.
So
I'm telling you the same thing.
what my partner's trying to say is that if you legitimately don't feel like this is a good living situation for you, then like for me, if I was in a situation that wasn't good for me, I would want to get out.
Okay,
But
but
it-
hear
the
me
fact
out.
that
though.
you're saying like, no, I'm going to
here.
stay.
I just got here. I don't have a relative's house I could go to. He wants to be here in the heat of this situation. Like I said, his dad owns 4 houses on this block. He could go to his granny house. He could go anywhere. You said Cooler Heads prevail. He's not trying to get out of this situation. He's trying to create an uncomfortable situation for me,
Right.
to where not only can I not live here peacefully, but he's making it to where I can't even go peaceful because he took my money. He
Right.
cleaned the account out. He cut off my credit cards. That's
I
what
hear
he's
you're saying.
doing. So what am I supposed to do?
The fact that this is a family member's house, like one of his family members' houses, you know he's not going anywhere. And they're not going to put him out and let you stay. It's just not. You know
He
that.
can willfully leave.
Right, but what, for the night? Are you guys going to stay together?
No, we're not together. That's it.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, if it was your family and your family's house, are they going to put you out and let him stay?
No, nobody's gonna get put out. Nobody's getting put out. But I'm like I explained to you. I'm not gonna go somewhere and just pour all of my money into it, and he's personally exhausting all of my funds, which I didn't have an issue with it. But then it's like once you drain me out and clean me out, it's like, okay, I don't know what fight I don't know if this is a financial thing for him or what, but now it's like, okay, now I'm going to create a situation to where I'm going to make it to where I'm not going to make you leave, but I want you to go. Like he asked me on the video, when are you going to leave? And he just keep doing that. But he's not creating the environment where I'm in other situation where I can leave. Not financially, not physically, none of that.
Right.
I can leave. I can go sleep in my car, but that's what I have. With a 6-year-old.
Yeah, and it's not an ideal
It
situation.
don't make sense. It's not.
It's definitely not ideal. But if there's a genuine threat, then
But again, if there's a genuine threat, I have the right to go down there and file for a TPO as well. This is my dwelling. This is all I know. I'm from Jersey. I'm from the East Coast. I'm not even from here. My family is there.
take it. To
Like,
trial.
I mean, because it's like,
we're hearing you out, and I want to hear you out, but I also want you to.
I don't want to. I'm telling you,
excited.
I really don't want to go that route to where it's like another restraining order, another legal issue for him, another nothing. But he's continuing to threaten me in front of my daughter, and I'm not going to say let me let him run me up out of here like he ran the last girl up out of here, because all the threats with I'll get my sister to whoop you and all of that, I'm not going to have it. This is where I stay. If you're going to pose a threat, you can go. You could go in handcuffs, or you could go. But like you said, oh, this is his dad's house. I have this right, though. And I'm not about to let him abolish my right. I have the right to be here.
Body camera footage from the police revealed that the officers interviewed Aisha and Dante separately, and both acknowledged they had been arguing, and both decided to end their relationship. In the footage, Aisha informed the officers that Dante had a firearm and requested that they make him leave for the night. The officers didn't ask either of the two to leave the home, but instead directed Dante to stay in the basement for the night. Convinced that they had diffused the situation between the two, the officers left. On Thursday, June 23, at approximately 11:45 a.m., Dayton police officers were called back to the home for a welfare check, which was requested by Dante's father. According to the father, he received a call from his son that he had shot his girlfriend multiple times during an argument. Then he took his 9-year-old daughter and dropped her off at an occupied residence owned by his father.
Regional dispatch.
I need somebody to come over and do a wellness check.
The first sign of concern came from a call to Regional Dispatch. A worried caller unable to find his family at a home on Burley Avenue in Dayton.
Do you think something happened?
I'm not sure. I just opened the door and just screamed everybody's name. No one's answering.
Dayton police responded just before noon. That's when they found a woman and young girl dead inside the home. Major Jason Hall says DPD's homicide unit was immediately called in, and police believe a firearm was involved.
It's not common that a welfare check results in this type of situation.
The 911 caller told the dispatcher there may have been an argument at the Burley Avenue home the night before.
My granddaughter said the police were here last night, so that's why I'm worried.
The dispatcher says police were called to that address. Hall says DPD will be checking into any prior calls to the house.
We are in the initial stages. Once again, that will be part of the investigation into what had occurred in this tragic incident.
It's sad to come home and see this.
One neighbor says while he didn't know the people who lived there very well, they were quiet.
I might have expected it somewhere else, but not like literally right across the street, and not from them.
Upon arrival, several units discovered the bodies of a woman and a little girl in the basement of the house. 31-year-old Aisha Nelson and her 6-year-old daughter, Harper Monroe, were identified by the Montgomery County coroner as the victims of the double homicide. The suspect, Aisha's boyfriend Dante Hawes, was nowhere to be found. Police quickly started an investigation as to how this tragedy happened, and they started their search for Dante. During the investigation, they learned that 2 officers had responded to a domestic dispute at the same residence involving the couple the previous night. They discovered the couple's disagreement began over a PlayStation game, and shortly after the officers left the residence, Dante shot and killed Aisha and her daughter. Police proceeded to search for Dante, and as they were investigating multiple locations, Dante was found dead from a gunshot inside a vehicle in Falkville, Alabama. He fatally harmed himself.
Man found shot to death this afternoon in Falkville. The Morgan County coroner identified that man as 32-year-old Dante Hawes. Hawes died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was a suspect in the murders of 2 people earlier today in Dayton, Ohio.
As detectives continued their investigation, they discovered that Aisha made several 911 calls on June 22, begging for help, saying her life was in danger. Aisha's first 911 call came in just before 5:30 p.m. She asks how to file a police report after she says her boyfriend threatened to kill her.
Regional dispatch.
Hi, I have a question.
Aisha Nelson's first 911 call came in just before 5:30 on June 22nd. She asks how to file a police report after she says her boyfriend threatened to kill her. The dispatcher encourages her to go to a nearby police station and call from there to have an officer come out and take a report. He also reminds her there are local shelters she can stay at for safety. But according to regional dispatch records, she didn't call back until just after midnight on June 23rd. She asks for an officer to meet her at a Family Dollar so she could file a police report.
I don't want him arrested. I just want to make a report. Just in case anything does happen, because I'm going to protect myself.
The dispatcher says she'll send an officer to the Family Dollar. About 20 minutes later, Nelson calls dispatch back, concerned because she saw several officers rushing to another scene.
I do know that they all went to a call. As far as how long it may be that they're on that call, I don't know because I just don't have any details.
Nelson tells the dispatcher she will make the report in the morning. She's concerned about waiting too long with her 6-year-old daughter in the car.
At least you guys have my calls recorded. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I do realize that Dayton does have a short of police officers.
She asks the dispatcher to have officers call her if they can meet with her and plans to go back to the house.
I just don't want them to show up at the house.
Right.
I don't want to upset him.
I will go ahead and let them know that, okay?
That was the last 911 call she made. Her boyfriend, Waverly Halls, known as Dante, then called dispatch just after 1:30 in the morning.
My girlfriend in here acting crazy and flew up the house. I just wanted to get out the house. I don't want no problems.
Dispatch records show police responded to the call just before 1:40 and left about an hour later. Dayton Police Major Brian John says no report was filed and no arrests were made. He believes Hawes shot and killed Nelson and her daughter, Harper Monroe, about an hour later.
Aisha and Harper's family has taken legal action against the city of Dayton, its police chief, and 2 police officers, arguing that the deaths of their loved ones were avoidable. The lawsuit claims police failed to protect Aisha and Harper from physical and emotional harm, resulting in their needless tragic deaths. The lawsuit alleges that the Dayton police officers who arrived at the Burley Avenue residence did not adhere to the department policy when they responded to the domestic incident. The suit seeks changes in the department's procedures for investigating such claims to prevent similar tragedies in the future, as well as hold them accountable for the deaths. They feel that at a minimum the policy should have required one or all the parties be removed from the residence. According to the lawsuit, the police officers who responded to the Burley Avenue home did not adhere to the appropriate protocols, conduct a thorough risk assessment, or investigate the domestic violence claims and threats of violence. Furthermore, it claims that the city has not provided sufficient training and supervision to its officers in dealing with domestic violence cases. What happened to Aisha and her daughter was a tragedy. This senseless act of violence destroyed many lives and could have been prevented. My condolences to their friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.